Welcome, bite-sized time travelers. We are off on our next trip. This time we're going to Pompeii in ancient Italy, and we'll be arriving on August 23rd, 79 AD. Ready? Here we go! This is a map of Italy, where we will be heading to. It is considered a peninsula, meaning it has water on 3 sides of it, and it sticks out into the Mediterranean Sea. So we are heading to the southern part of Italy, into the Bay of Naples. This is the Bay of Naples, and it shows from a top view of Mount Vesuvius, also the towns of Herculaneum, Pompeii, and Stabi. So first, let's talk about volcanoes. There are at least 6 different kinds of volcanoes, and we're going to talk about a little bit about each one. The first would be a fissure volcano, or a fissure vent, and it is a long volcano vent through which lava erupts but doesn't become explosive and explode. A famous lava channel or lava fissure vent is Hawaii's volcanoes. The next is a shield volcano, and a shield volcano is called that because it looks like a warrior's shield. There are shield volcanoes in Hawaii, Iceland, and also the Galapagos Islands. A dome volcano is a round-shaped mountain, and the lava has such a high content of silica in it that it prevents the lava from flowing very far from its vent. Lava domes often form in the caldera, which is the dip in the volcano of a stratovolcano after major eruptions, and it's where the summit, the top of the mountain, has collapsed into the mountain to make that bowl, which they call a caldera. A lava dome has been forming in the crater of Mount St. Helens ever since its 1980 eruption. Ash cinder cone volcanoes are the most common type of volcano and are the symmetrical cone-shaped volcanoes that we typically think of. They may occur as a single volcano or as a secondary volcano on the side of a stratovolcano or a shield volcano. Stratovolcanoes are also called composite volcanoes because they are built of layers of alternating lava flow, ash, and blocks of unmelted stone. They are also larger than cinder cone volcanoes. Stratovolcanoes erupt with great violence. The pressure builds up in the magma chamber as gases and under immense heat and pressure, and they're dissolved in liquid rock. When that magma reaches the pressure, it is released then, and the gas explode like a spewing soda out of a soda can. Because they form in a system of underground conduits, stratovolcanoes may blow out the sides of the cone as well as the summit crater. The last one is a caldera volcano, and a caldera is a bowl-shaped depression that's formed when a volcano actually collapses into that void that's left when its magma chamber has emptied out. There are 3 types of these kinds. The first is called a crater lake caldera. This is the result of the stratovolcano collapsing into its magma chamber during a violent eruption. The second is a basaltic caldera, and it has a concentric ring pattern resulting from a series of gradual collapses rather than one single event. They are often found at the summit of a shield volcano, such as the crater at the top of Mauna Loa. The last one is a resurgent caldera, and that's the largest volcanic structure on Earth. They are a result of a catastrophic eruption that dwarf any other eruptions ever recorded by human beings. And there is actually one here in America. It is the Yellowstone caldera. It is sometimes called a supervolcano. So what kind of volcano is actually going to blow? An active volcano has active magma chamber underneath it and can blow. A dormant volcano is a magma chamber that is slowly filling up, so it's kind of asleep. And then there's an extinct volcano, where the magma chamber underneath the volcano is gone. So now back to our volcano. We are going to Pompeii. In Pompeii, the mountain volcano that is there is Mount Vesuvius. It is an active volcano, and it is a stratovolcano. It is the only volcano in the European mainland that has actually erupted within the last 100 years, although it is not currently erupting right now. So on August 23rd, 79 AD, Pompeii looked like any other busy, prosperous city. People were moving about, trading goods, news, and friendly talk. 3 days later, on August 26th, all of those sounds had fallen silent, and the place itself had vanished. Almost nothing was seen of Pompeii for more than 1,500 years. Now, more than 1,900 years later, we're learning more and more about the last days of Pompeii. What happened to Pompeii preserved a treasury of information about life in the ancient Roman Empire. We're going to begin our exploration of the mystery of Pompeii and the life of the people in the Roman Empire. This map shows the dark cloud of ash that swept over the southern part of the Naples Bay. This map shows Mount Vesuvius and how it blew up. The red part shows the pyroclastic flow, which is the hot molten ash, and how far it went out into the Bay of Naples. The darkened area where it has lists of numbers, 200 centimeters, 100 centimeters, that shows the thickness of the ash that fell and how far away it fell as well.
The Roman city of Pompeii, 1st century AD. An affluent, vibrant and progressive hub near Naples, with Mount Vesuvius towering over the city. Inactive for centuries, the people of Pompeii had no fear of the great volcano. But deep inside Vesuvius, molten rock had been leaking from the Earth's crust. A thick plug of rock in the volcano blocked its exit, and explosive pressure slowly grew inside. On the morning of August 24th, 79 AD, Pompeii was about to meet its fate. The volcano finally erupted, sending molten rock 15 kilometers into the sky. The day turned black as the hot rock mixed with the air over Pompeii, blocking the sun, cooling and falling on the city as pumice rock, ash and rain. 4 billion tons of material would fall on Pompeii within 24 hours. Ash and magma collided in the air, triggering volcanic lightning. As the eruption continued, the magma chamber eventually emptied and collapsed. The first pyroclastic surge towards Pompeii begins. These are ground-hugging avalanches of hot ash, pumice, and volcanic gas that rush towards Pompeii at 100 kilometers per hour. The first surge falls just short of the city, but asphyxiation from toxic gas and ash killed many. 16 hours after the first eruption, the volcano column completely gave way. Pyroclastic waves smashed through houses, leaving victims instantaneously encased in blankets of ash and pumice. The city and its people were frozen in time. Mount Vesuvius buried Pompeii in 25 meters of volcanic rock and ash. Pompeii was rediscovered by accident over 1,500 years later, in 1594. The buildings and its people having been encased in ash and preserved in time.
Here are a few pictures of things that the archaeologists have found in and around Vesuvius.
in Pompeii was stopped in its tracks. Today, excavations of this once booming city offer the best look anywhere at ancient Roman life. For archaeologists, Pompeii was a shake-and-bake windfall. Ancient Rome controlled the entire Mediterranean Sea. That made it a kind of free trade zone, and Pompeii was an important port town. It was big, 20,000 people. It was an important commercial center. Imagine this square, just busy with market activity. And because it was a port, it was a kind of a sailor's quarter, and that meant it was fun. Lots of bars, baths, brothels, restaurants, and places of entertainment. The main square, or forum, was Pompeii's commercial, religious, and political center. The Curia housed the government. It was built of brick and mortar, a Roman invention. It was originally faced with gleaming marble. The basilica, or law court, was nearby. Here you see the basilica floor plan that medieval churches adopted after Christianity became legal. In good Roman style, the city was well organized, with a grid street plan contained within its walls. Remains of homes give a glimpse into Roman lifestyles. The House of Vetti, the home of a wealthy merchant, shows the typical layout of a mansion. Its colonnaded atrium, with formal garden and water flowing to give freshness, was ringed by colorfully frescoed rooms. For a better understanding of life at Pompeii, Italian archaeologist Gaetano Manfredi is taking us on a walk. Pompeii's impressive baths were just past the gymnasium. After working out, Romans would relax, be pampered, and enjoy the social scene in a public bath.
This was the tepidarium, so people coming from gymnasium after sport, they were massaged by the slaves. Inside the niches all around there were oils, creams, perfumes for the body massages. A part of the ceiling is still original, and so we can see how beautiful decorated was once all the ceiling. They were massaged by the slaves 25-30 minutes before going to the sauna, because tepidarium means lukewarm bath. After the tepidarium, there was the calidarium, which was the hot bath. Beside this wall, there was a room where the slaves made the fire. The hot air went underneath the double floor, because this floor is supported by little columns, and the hot air went between the double walls. There was a circulation of hot air, and just when everything was really hot, they opened the water of a fountain over here. The water slowly fell on the floor was hot, and this produced steam. The last stop was the frigidarium, the cold bath. As we still do today, after the sauna, to harder the muscles and for the body circulation, the cold bath.
Water was abundant in this well-plumbed city. Fountains provided a social center at intersections, and a steady stream of water flushed the chariot-rutted streets clean. So why the stones in the street here?
Well, there was always water flowing along the roads and washing the roads, so that's why the sidewalk all over and the stepping stones.
So the pedestrians walk across and not get wet?
Road, avoiding wet feet.
Very smart. While the site is evocative, the horrors of that day in 79 AD are hard to imagine.
Thousands of people died in this eruption. Here we have the cast of those people. During the excavations, sometimes the archaeologists fell under the volcanic materials some empty spaces left by the decomposition of bodies. And so what they did, they injected the liquid plaster in these empty spaces. The liquid plaster took the form of the previous bodies, and when it dried up, the archaeologists cleaned all the ash away and appeared the body in the same position the man was when he died 2,000 years ago.
One day a thriving city, the next day, this.
Well, I hope you enjoyed your bite size of Pompeii. There's so many things to learn about Mount Vesuvius and Pompeii the city. We're going to look at our map of Italy. We're going to we have a coloring page for our volcano. Don't forget to do your passport stamp and we will be blowing up a volcano, and then we'll be doing our art project with Miss Bren. I hope you enjoyed your time, and we'll see you in a few more weeks when we start our second session of Bite-Sized Time Travelers.